Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. This video is sponsored by One Football app that makes it easy to keep up to date with the transfer news, scores and stats all in one place. To download the One Football app, click the link in the description. This is the final word for Everton 1, Newcastle 1. We are joined by Forrest all the way from the United States. Just for this. He didn't even go to Matt, he just come for it. He did.
Happy to be here, yeah. I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
We're happy to have you here. Listen, I want to apologise for my post-match reaction last night. It was probably the worst one I've ever done because I was fuming. But anyway, there you go. Ped, I mean, how are you feeling after the game last
Sorry, I was
night?
just checking my comments because they haven't stopped going on about you.
Oh, no. I've had
loads of angry Newcastle fans.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of knew what I was doing. Yeah. The hook was out there. Right. But that's football.
Just double checking, yeah. You also forgot. You put it out. Right. Yeah, whatever.
I'm asking you that about the game. About me.
Massively frustrating game of football, but you know what? I was expecting it, so I don't feel maybe as bad as you feel because I honestly felt like it was coming at some point. A game like this, for all of the reasons I've mentioned, we can't score goals. We don't take shots. We don't create chances. And Newcastle are very, very good at getting bodies in the way, and they've been playing decently away. And I just thought this performance was coming, and it arrived.
Lo and behold, Forrest, the team changes. Yeah. Obviously, we made 3 changes from the team that done well at played quite well at Anfield on Sunday, albeit lost the game. Lookman for Walcott, I think we all, I can't speak for you, but for me and Ped and certainly a lot of other Blues were kind of thinking that should happen anyway, to give Lookman a go. Tosin, I can kind of understand, but the one that got me was Michael Keane for Zuma. It really, to me, made no sense whatsoever, unless he's injured. And I don't know whether he was, but he was on the bench.
Right.
But, I mean, were you surprised by any of them 3 changes?
Yeah. Michael Keane being out of the team surprised me a bit. I think when you change it back 4, you're kind of risking it a bit. And obviously we conceded first with that. And I actually had a chance to watch the goal over this morning. And, I mean, I don't know. Just Rondon was just free. Nobody was really marking him. And Dean was just kind of sitting there staring at him. It sinks. But I was expecting Lookman to come in. I really thought he would take his chance a lot more, and he didn't. It was very disappointing. And like you alluded before, he kind of seemed like a sort of like a 5-a-side player who just wanted to kind of dribble through a bunch of people and take a shot on goal. Didn't really have a place there.
I think his close control and his dribbling ability is fantastic. It really is. But I don't know if he knows where he's playing half the time.
I don't know if other people know where he's playing. And that's a big problem. I'm completely opposite. I had no problem with Michael Keane going up the team because we've got 3 really good centre backs, and it's not like Zuma hasn't played. So I understood why the manager thought that would be a good idea. I don't get me wrong. I don't want this to become a habit where you're chopping and changing your centre backs. But it's not a terrible idea if Mina knows how to play with Zuma and Zuma knows how to play with Keane, and Keane knows how to play with Mina. It's not that, if you can have 2 different partnerships. As I said, I don't want rotation, but it's always good to have players knowing each other's strength. And I didn't really think that cost us anything last night, that partnership. I thought it was fine. I think the manager has got to look at players. Unfortunately, like you just mentioned, the other 2 changes, Lookman just plays his own game, but every time a player had the ball and they were looking at him, he always seemed to be standing somewhere where they didn't want him to be standing. And I think that, he's been training with the first team all season. They should know what the pattern of play is. And at times they were very reluctant to pass the ball to him as well, which I thought was very, very strange. But I think you've seen from last night's performance, and don't get me wrong, he shouldn't be written off by last night's performance because you need a run of games at sometimes, but last night I think shows why the manager likes Walcott over him, because Walcott will always give you an option and will always give the defender a bit of a tot of time. Even if he's playing poorly, he'll always make him think. I don't know if Lookman does that enough or has got that in his game quite yet. And then the other sort of Tosin, was just really ineffective. He doesn't suit the way we play at all.
It's sad, isn't it? Because he's a player you want to do really well, Jen Tosun. You want him to score goals, and I think he would score goals, but in a different formation. I just don't think the way we're set up and the way the manager wants to play, I just don't think it's gonna work for him, because I think we rely on pace, and the one thing I noticed last night right from the first whistle was how slow we were pressing, and that hasn't been evident so far this season. We've been the number one pressing side in the final third, and last night Newcastle, we hardly put them under any pressure whatsoever.
Well, I was looking at some of the stats that they had, and I mean they didn't do a lot. You know, they just set up to let us have the ball. We had like 75% possession. I mean, we were really sitting there with the ball, and it was just sideways, back and forth. Gomez was trying to find somebody to move forward, and then Tosun was just kind of waiting for something to happen for him. I mean, he like you said, he didn't affect overall play a lot. He kind of just waits for a chance, and then he'll take a shot. Like, he should have scored. You know, the Dubravka save was great, and that probably saved the game for Newcastle. But other than that, I mean, no, I don't remember him doing too much other than putting a few headers over the ball on bar.
I think for Tosun to work, I think what they did try and do last night was Digne put in a lot more crosses, I noticed, especially in the first half. You know, just into the 6-yard box for an area where Tosun would be, and obviously the one you just mentioned there, he should have scored from, and that was a great chance.
Yeah.
I think you've got to. I think Coleman's got to do more. Had to do more of that as well. He didn't, and I think that let us down. He didn't get past the fullback enough to throw balls into the box. Right. And that, like you just mentioned, the pressing. Silva said he would have made more changes if he could have. He said because he said the players just looked tired.
So why didn't he? 6 lads who didn't get near the...
I think though, because I think once you start making lots and lots of changes, then you're going to absolutely disrupt your team, aren't you? So I think he made the changes he felt were right, but you could see that the players on the pitch were jaded, tired. Because at the end of that derby game, it was only Sunday. It was it finished at 6:30.
I spoke to a couple of my mates who were Reds last night. One this morning, and then obviously the lads have said that Liverpool
completely changed the team.
They tried 7 changes. He said they still look knackered. So we didn't play well. We were knackered, and then obviously that quality got them. Well, as the quality got them out of a little bit of a pickle they were in, but we didn't do that. I just thought we started the game slowly, and I think when Everton start the game slowly, it allows a team who was, Newcastle set up to not get beat, which is fair enough. There's no problem with that. Last season we went to Anfield and done virtually the same, give Liverpool a ball for 75% of the time and had a couple of chances, and it worked. So, last night I was bemoaning Rafa Benitez's tactics. Some people took it, a lot of Reds actually more than Geordies, took it as me saying Allardyce is the same as Benitez, which is not the point I was trying to make. I was trying to say them tactics were very Sam Allardyce tactics. Rafa Benitez is miles better than Sam Allardyce will ever be and would ever be. His goatee's better than Sam Allardyce would ever be. But he knew what he was doing, and they have been very strong. I think they only lost 2-1 at City, Newcastle, so that tells you how disciplined they are. But I think it followed the Huddersfield game pattern for me, which that they came and played that low block, and we were just going like this. And then we done the worst thing you can do in those kind of games, which is concede the first goal. Right, and then after that, we seem to become devoid of ideas. And, the first half, we could have gone in 4-1 up. We had chances to go. Gylfi Sigurdsson missed 2 absolute sitters for me. That he should have took both of them first time, he didn't. So he took 2 touches for no reason and give the keeper a chance to save one, he blocked the other. Richarlison had 2 chances within a minute to score. Tosun misses a sitter. But second half, nothing. They just coped with us with ease, and to be fair, they could have won the game. But again, the slow start for me is something I think Everton need to address, because the higher we go and the more media coverage we get, a lot of teams are going to come and do that. Because you would do that.
But doesn't that come down to the fact that the players are knackered? Is there anything we can do that apart from change all our players? And if we haven't got the quality, I honestly don't know what we can do.
Well, you see, I would have... Richarlison coming out for Tosun would have made more sense to me. Right? But I don't want Richarlison up the side, but I'm saying he's been playing as a centre forward, and we've said he's a centre forward. And then the next minute he's back on the left. So I think Richarlison game, I don't think he knew where he was really playing last night, because he didn't do what he was doing in the first bit of the season down the left. He was drifting in, then he was drifting out. And I think, ironically, we missed Bernard in the first half, because he's the one when teams are sitting back that can unlock it. But I think when he came on, we ended up putting him in the middle of the park, then he went on the right, and you're like, I don't know, I just think it...
I understand what you're saying.
Ultimately, it
but I just... What can you do about it?
You need, well, when you're making changes, right?
No, but we haven't got the quality. Isn't that the answer?
You have to, yeah, but even if you haven't got the quality, you still surely you'd have to almost play the same way, even if that level of quality is one below.
I think we did play the same way. I just don't think we were good enough.
We were just slow. We were very slow.
We were just slow, weren't we? We just looked knackered, and that's what I'm saying. I can't sit here and be like I'm dead angry, because I'm not, because I don't think anybody really did anything wrong. I just think we just looked fucked. Simple as that. I'd love to sit here going, I'd say who's the key one. I'd say, look, Lucas Digne was terrible, like absolutely terrible. So, but that's the first time that's happened this season. He got kicked all night last night. Never got into his stride. Still put some lovely balls into the box. It was probably his mistake for the goal. He completely switched off. Mina's gone to cover the ball. It's gone past him.
No, and Coleman should have dealt with it.
No, I know he should have dealt with it, but once a ball's in the box, defender's got to defend, and Digne completely switches off. I thought he was absolutely terrible last night. Am I angry at him? No, because he's been brilliant for us. It's just, I just think you're gonna get these games where, unless you can make lots of changes that actually, because really, we only made two changes last night that
out the team,
that affected the way we play. Yeah. And one of them's your centre forward, and we all know we need a centre forward. And the other one is a lad everyone's been crying for to come into the team. So, as I say, I can't sit here. I've seen this coming, because you look at the other games where people have shut up shop, the likes of Palace, the likes of Cardiff. We've worn them down. We didn't have the energy to wear Newcastle down last night. It's as simple as that. We could finish the show right now and we would have solved the problem. Honestly, we didn't have the players to wear them down last night, and I don't think the fans...
I'm not angry.
You feel angry?
No,
I feel there's like heat coming off you.
I'm just roasting because it's 14
degrees. It is very
I'm frustrated.
Warm. Global warming exists!
I'm frustrated because I think if we'd have drawn on Sunday, if that had ended 0-0, I think it would have probably been a little less frustration.
But Forrest, he comes all the way over here, and he has to sit here and watch Everton play like that. Feel sorry for him.
I am feeling sorry for him.
But you don't even know Sunday. We can talk about Sunday, but that was... my mate told me to expect it, and I was like, no, I think we can nick it. And I thought,
you and your bold optimism.
Yeah. Oh man, and I just thought, okay, 0-0, I'll take it, and then that.
Now you'll know anyway, because I know you've been an Evertonian for a while, but that's where the expression comes from. Everton that is Everton that is Everton that. But
I mean, we went behind. It was a poor goal. Let's have it right. It was a foul on Lookman.
Was it a foul on Lookman? I don't think it was a foul on Lookman.
I think it was 100%.
I just think he got it nicked off him, and he hasn't got the strength.
No,
just the strength of a care there.
2 fouls in the build-up.
It looked like fouls.
It was 2 fouls in the build-up. And for the stadium to be a referee when a ball goes in, tells you, because our stadium doesn't do anything other than react to goals.
Oh, he's angry today. He's so angry.
But it was a good goal from Newcastle's perspective. Murphy, who I was thinking, has he just played against us the other week? It's his twin brother or something of Cardiff. Yeah. His pace was good. Coleman should have gone and closed it down. He didn't. Again, doesn't stop crosses. And then obviously we should deal with it. But after the goal, we did pick it up a little bit, and we started asking a few more questions of them. But again, they're too slow with the final pass, or it just became too easy for them, didn't it? And I mean, we have to talk about the set pieces. We had 14 corners last night.
It's embarrassing.
We scored off a corner that didn't
twice.
feel like it. We scored off a corner, but it was the first time in 93 corners we've scored a goal off a corner. But it didn't feel like we scored off a corner because of the way it fell, if that makes any sense. We didn't
Well,
directly
it hit two of their players, didn't it, before it got to Richarlison.
Yeah.
And Richarlison
finished it.
had nearly just scored.
Yeah,
and there was a shout for a penalty on Luchman as well.
Yeah.
But it come exactly the right time for the game.
Took it well,
it was a great finish because he scooped it into the net. But we just couldn't kick on from there. And you're right, the set pieces are horrendous.
Gylfi Sigurdsson, when he got a free kick or a corner for Swansea, you were like, probably a goalless or well, you can't pick. I don't know whether it.
What I would say is though, what I would say is, the set pieces is in the free kicks around the box. I don't think they're too bad. We're putting them in the dangerous areas, but corners are horrendous. They had one corner at the park end, and the lad put it in with so much pace.
Fired it in.
We don't put corners in with pace. We put them like these little floaty ones, and they're dead easy to defend. If you're a centre back, you just go right through them. But as an attacker, they're dead hard because you've got to put all the power on.
Why don't we ever win that ball though? You know, Brighton come the other weekend. Corners in, they scored off one corner, but you're just thinking, we don't even. We defend corners a lot better now, obviously with the zone, but attacking wise, we don't even get our heads on them. We don't even head them over because we just don't get near them.
Well, we're all waiting for Mina to score one. Like that's what we feel like we brought him in for, is to be that presence on corners. And he's come close. I mean, he came close against Liverpool on Sunday. Yeah, but I mean, he'll get one eventually. But you're right. I don't think Dean should be on set pieces. I know he's kind of just down the pecking order. You know, when we have to have him on, we took Sigurdsson off. I think Lookman was on corners for a little bit before he came off as well.
I don't like out-swinging corners, I must admit. Yeah. I don't like them at all. I think it's got to be an in-swinger every time.
Because then if it gets a nick,
well, you've seen that from our goal. He got 2 nicks and it ends up because of the way it's gone.
Ball,
But it doesn't fit. When we brought Silva in, I honestly thought that would be one of the things that would be really good. That would set pieces. He had a track record of good set pieces. But
the first few games we did, though, we mixed everything up. Remember Southampton game? We had the first 4 corners we had were all different. Like one was the edge of the box for a volley, and I was like, oh, we're going to be bot. And then we've kind of just regressed. I mean, even Wolves away, we scored from a set piece, didn't we?
What I don't like is every single set piece just seems to be put into the box. There's no variation. There's no one goes short. No one tries to change the angle. We don't do what Brighton did when they scored against us. Have someone on the edge of the area. You can change the angle. I'm watching other teams and I'm seeing.
I mean, Liverpool done that well on Sunday, didn't he? Change the angle.
But I'm seeing other teams that aren't as good as us, but they've got good variation on the set pieces because they know that's a route into the game. And I think games like this, and the game on Sunday, you need to have a different way of scoring goals. You can't just rely on your top players. You've got to grind something out, and that means set pieces. And we don't have that at the moment. And I think, without going all doom and gloom, I think last night was like it was like, you won't know this because you're too young. When you get old, right, and you drink, you start feeling all your ailments, right?
Sure, just when you get old,
right? You start if you've got a sore arm or you've ever broke your arm and your leg, you start to feel all the pains, right? That's what last night felt like. It was like everything was exposed that we're not very good at. Everything, it was like where we've got away with it in other games. Last night, it all just seemed to come together because you could see how jaded we were.
I think we said, haven't we? We said that this season will be bumps in the road and it's progression, and we probably are ahead of where potentially we thought we were going to be. Certainly, for me, we are ahead of it, and that you start then putting pressure on games that maybe you shouldn't do. And last night, I just fully expected us to bounce back after Sunday and beat them because they aren't great at the moment. You know, they've just been beaten 3-0 at home, so the confidence probably. I know the better.
But they just won 3 in a row though.
No, but then you get beat.
But away from home, they've been really good.
But even so, but Everton have been really good at home. So
yeah, I know, but
so
I just
can't put emphasis on one more than the other, can you? Everton have won 4 on the spin at home, 1 defeat and 11 at Goodison. So I think they won 8 at those, I think 9 of those 11.
I think you're forgetting physically though. It does have a toll on you, and I think.
Well, then if that's the case, we're knackered because we've got 4 games in 8 days, so you may as well just write all of those 4 games. But that's where you've got to have. You can't look like that, can you?
You can. Of course you can't. Those players last night, the manager came out after the game.
That's up. Newcastle played on Saturday.
No, but they've played at home
and been smashed at home.
They've played at home and probably, and you know what? That's probably made it. the fact that they got smashed, they mightn't run around as much as we did on Sunday. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. They mightn't have run around.
I just think that's an easy excuse for me.
It's not an excuse.
But it is,
don't become an old man here and go, footballers shouldn't be tired. If players are tired, they're tired, aren't they? If they can't,
it's got nothing to do.
Well, it is, because Newcastle actually played really well last night. Really well.
I mean, they just kept everything in front of them.
Do you know what? I thought that they were really disciplined, and when they broke, I don't know what you, but it worried me at times.
I only got worried in the last second.
They should have won the game.
They should have won the game. Should have won the game at the end.
But I think that's where, as a footballer, that psychological side of things going, we've got to be careful, these might break. Yeah. And that's where I thought they played really, really well. I've got no problem with the way they played at all, because they knew what they were doing, and they came for a point and they got a point, and they were the way they sat in and made, just blocked us off, didn't they? They looked good last night as a defensive unit. So it was up for us to break them down, and we couldn't. And,
of course, you're always going to get.
I think what it did last night was it opened your eyes to things that sometimes, when things are going well, you gloss over. Or so you mentioned Seamus Coleman before to me. Seamus Coleman was rubbish last night. So as a club, we need to start to look at that position and go, right, what do we need? What do we need? Do we need a new right back now to come in and take that over from Seamus Coleman? And I think everyone would say, well, probably yeah.
Well, he's 30, so if you're going to try and challenge the top 6 and top 4, of course you do, because we have to do it with Baines. You have to do it with Coleman. You have to do it. We had the chance right on half time. Cenk Tosun, good ball. Was it Dean who fired it across? Wasn't it? It was a great ball across. Tosun's there, but he's got to score that, hasn't he?
I mean, it's twice in a row. That happened Sunday too with Gomez header. It's been point blank saves that just
brilliant by the goalkeeper.
Right.
I think I think that save last night was better than Alisson's, because Alisson turned his head. I think he just threw himself out, didn't he? But both brilliant saves in their own right. And that was right on half time. And I think if that goes in, I think we'd have won the game. Because I think the energy would.
I thought that was a quite a lazy effort by Tosun as well. I think he I don't know.
I haven't seen it again.
I just thought he just sort of stuck a leg out rather than...
he just went at it.
Yeah, rather than having a little bit of craft and trying to divert it. I thought that was almost like he didn't feel like he was going to get it.
Oh.
But
then the second half, you go off 1-1, it's like let's pick this up.
Right.
But I think they coped easily in the second half, didn't they, with everything. We didn't cause them any kind of
like Ped's mentioned with the energy levels, we didn't make them work for it.
No.
Again, we kept everything in front of them, and we just had a couple of shots that went into the stands off corners and didn't really create anything inside the box.
No.
It was just frustrating, and also we didn't have Dean put in about every ball in the second half. Everything went down our left side.
Yeah.
And I mean, he brought Walcott on. I remember Walcott's first touch. He left the ball behind, so that just shows where he's at right now. And I know you mentioned Coleman. He had a rubbish game last night. I think a lot of that had to do because he didn't have that support. Lookman wasn't giving him support.
I think for me, the problem with Seamus is now, and he never ever did this, is that he takes the touch and then he turns and passes it back.
He hasn't got the confidence.
No.
He doesn't look like he doesn't think he can get. And I didn't think he did have the beating of that lad last night, and maybe he just doesn't have the beating of plays anymore, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's what he has lost with that injury, he just doesn't have that yard of pace that used to get him past. And maybe he also doesn't feel like, because this is the other thing he used to do, is he play it inside and then keep running and get it back, and maybe he doesn't feel like he's got to play now who can do that for him.
Is it highlights how much we rely on Luca Dean then on the other side, and that I think against teams like Newcastle who are well disciplined and well drilled, you've got to be able to attack down both sides. You can't force everything down one side because they just cope with it too easily, which is what they did. They coped with it brilliantly, alright. They left the foot in a few times, but you're breaking a game up by doing it. That's it's up to you to rise above that.
I think I'm not sitting here worried, because I feel like it's all in hand. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's in hand, and that last night was just like one of those nights. It was sometimes in those games you get a goal and everything goes for you and you end up batting them, and sometimes it doesn't, and we're all annoyed because it comes off the back of a derby. That's the real annoyance.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that you have it down, don't you? Oh, I got 2 games back to back at home, 6 points, no problem, blah blah blah. That doesn't work like that.
Not unless you're
Who's to say, you know, Spurs come to Goodison and we don't turn them over, you know, and that's where you go, I didn't expect that to happen.
Wolves beat Chelsea last night,
Exactly.
didn't they? And Wolves, you know, have been gone only one way before last night, so it can happen. You know, we move on.
Yeah.
We move on, start an unbeaten run again. Let's hope we can beat Watford and see where we end up. But we're sixth.
I know.
We're sixth, you know what I mean? And you do have to kind of remind yourself that, you know, sixth, and we have done well this season. It's just when you hit a bump in the road like that, I think if we'd have played really well and it'd have ended 1-1, I think you'd go, one of them nights. But I think because everything just seemed flat, I think it makes the result worse. It makes you feel worse because it wasn't like a good performance and a draw. It was you know, I called it a lacklustre performance, because that's what it felt like. It just felt a bit flat. Yeah. So, big thank you to Forrest for joining us for
Top man.
quite a depressing final bit. Don't forget to check out the One Football app. It's good. It gives you all the stats and facts before the games. It's good. It's free. Download it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join us on Patreon if you want more videos.
Cheer up, Baz, for God's sake! Cheer up, man! Cheer up! God, we'll see you later.
And sorry for the Newcastle fans.